All right. Hey, everybody. I'm here with Jonathan Hardy. Hey, Jonathan.
How are you doing today, Jennifer?
Great. How are you?
Fantastic.
Good. So, Jonathan is actually a real estate agent with Keller Williams. He serves Cincinnati and Dayton, Ohio. He is also the committee chair for a committee I'm part of, which is the Advocacy and Legislative Committee at the Cincinnati Board of Realtors. But he has a background in politics. So, I wanted to talk to Jonathan today because we've had a lot of tough customers, I feel like. And with your background, I was hoping you could give us some tips on how to deal with different types of people or just crazy people in general.
And there are quite a few, whether they be people looking to buy, sell, or sometimes our colleagues.
Mostly, I feel like it's a prerequisite if you're a real estate agent. You have to be a little crazy, right?
There are definitely days, just in order, you have to use crazy in order to manage things, time, energy.
Yeah.
But being in real estate, my personal belief, is just a great overall experience. As you had previously mentioned, I was part of government politics. I worked for a California state senator for 8 years. Following that,
Oh, California too. They are weird over there.
yes, we definitely have a different mindset than some folks in Cincinnati or
Yeah.
throughout the world. To be honest, California has its own
It's
mentality,
its own
culture.
special place, unicorn rainbow place. Yeah.
It is, 35 million people, huge economy. So it is its own little world in itself, whether you be from Northern California, Central California, or Southern California. So
Yeah.
as a result, everybody used to say it's the melting pot, but we, in Southern California, it's the salsa bowl.
Nice.
You get all these different flavors together, and then, by the end, it comes out delicious. So having that background, those experiences, transitioning to real estate, for me was an opportunity to bridge, helping people and, what I have a personal desire to be able to help people, and
Hmm.
utilizing my decade in politics, my job was really to help kind of facilitate a process. We're all taxpayers.
Kind of get everybody on the same page when they're coming at it. They may be even saying, I imagine, the same thing sometimes, but they're saying it different. So they think they're at odds.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Whether you're from Cincinnati, whether from, Michigan, Florida, California, New York, most people have the same desire. In real estate, they're looking to buy or sell a house.
It should be simple, and yet here we are.
You would think. The motivations can be different. Those can be, buying a house, their first home, their, second or third home. It could be an investment. Or it could be, divesting themselves from those.
Right.
So, as realtors, we have this opportunity to help so many people. And sometimes it's, as you will fully agree and experience, it can be a real challenge as it relates to, cultural, language, political, or just societal differences of,
well, that's sort of a hot button for today's society too.
Yeah.
Just all the, cultural, everything, economic, race. I mean, all these differences. Everybody is different. Everybody has their own unique experiences, but we cluster together.
Yes. Exactly. And the big thing for us as realtors, in my personal belief, is, identifying what their need truly is. If we don't know what people are doing and the why,
right,
it's hard for us to provide a service, because that's what we really are. We are a service-based industry.
Yeah, we have to ask questions in order to learn that. There is this story that and I don't even know where I heard it, but it's so applicable everywhere. But it's okay, so there's these two ladies sitting on a park bench and they have two oranges, but they both want two oranges. Have you heard this story?
No, I haven't.
Okay, they both want two oranges, and so they're fighting. And so what they decide to do is split it. And so that's what a lot of people do, is they're well, we'll just split it. We'll split it down the middle. The buyer and seller will figure it out, come together. but they never asked each other any questions. So lady one got 1 orange, lady 2 got 1 orange, right? Well, lady 1 starts in on her orange, and she throws away the outside of it, and she eats the inside. Well, lady 2 starts on her orange, she throws away the inside, and she only uses the outside for something. I forget what it is. But like the point is like if they would have asked like a couple of questions, it wouldn't even have taken that many. They could have both had 2 oranges.
That's
You know what I mean? Like, why split it when, to your point, just like figure out what is it that the buyer wants, what is it that the seller wants, and half of our job is what is it that the agent wants. And then it's like, okay, we can figure this out, you know?
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely.
I like it. Is that tip 1? Ask questions?
Ask questions. 2, listen.
What? Listen. All right. What do you mean?
You just said, ask questions and then listen. What do they need? What is their want? What is their need? If we don't know what they truly need, again, we can't provide we can't help them get to where they want to be unless we listen. And that is so hard for us a lot of times because we want to, give our own perspective, our own, opinion about whether this house, this location or whatnot.
What it is,
Shut up. Listen.
Well, I think though too, like, especially, I mean, I don't deal with like a ton of buyers, but like I deal with a lot of buyers agents to get feedback, right? Yeah. So from like a listing agent's perspective, a lot of buyers don't necessarily actually say what it is that they want or that they mean. And so you're not only listening, like to me, you're not listening to what's said, but you're listening to what's not said, right? And so it doesn't really matter to me what, and I tell the sellers this all the time, it's like, it doesn't matter what they say about the house. Because if they say they don't like the paint colors, whatever, well, if we change that, would you buy it? And the answer is still no. Exactly. So the real question is, well, what did you buy? Right? Because that'll tell you everything. You can compare it and say, okay, well, that makes sense now. Exactly. But like, that's a question, like listening, but how do you listen if they're not talking or they're not saying?
And that's a fantastic question. And I think it's incumbent upon, that agent to sit down with folks before they're walking them around to house after house after house after house, and burning bridges with fellow realtors, and wasting the time of the sellers and the buyers.
And there's everybody's. Yeah. Exactly.
It's like, sit down. Okay, buyer, you're telling me you want a 3-bedroom house. Why?
There's only one of you. Like, what do you want? What do you really need? How are you using the space?
Exactly. Like, I want a fenced in yard. Cool. Do you have kids? No. Do you have pets? No. Yeah. Okay.
Why?
Yeah, exactly. The why, and listen, and once you have that information, I think it makes the process a lot easier. And part 3 is setting expectations. If, in Cincinnati, within a certain price range, the 100 to 200,000, it's on fire. I mean,
yeah, even up to 3.
Yeah. And it's just like, you have to make sure you set the expectations for your clients when you're representing buyers that, hey, this price range, be prepared to have competition. Another thing, and when dealing with different cultures, different languages, is trying to make sure that you are, again, setting expectations of, you're buying this house. This is not a brand new house. Right. Every house has issues. Even brand new houses have issues.
Right.
So when you buy this house and we're going to do inspections, be prepared. They are going to call out random things. Some things are very important, health and safety. And when it's health and safety, we absolutely address that. Yeah. But if there's a little hole from a picture, that's not health and safety. No. Sorry.
That's so true.
It's setting the expectation in advance. So when you come to that time period, it's not like something new to them. It's like, hey, remember what we talked about? This expectation for the inspection, so we can move forward with you guys owning this home for you and your family or yourself or whatnot.
Well, and that goes into like your second point about like listening, but listening like upfront and doing that like buyer consultation or listing consultation or whatever. And we did some podcasts on that too to give people tips. But a lot of times people will say they understand,
Yeah.
but they don't understand. And I mean, I've done it too. Like, oh yeah, I get it. But I'm like, I don't get it at all. Like, but I didn't want to feel stupid or like, I felt like maybe I had it, but maybe I didn't. And so like even asking, that can be pulled your first point about asking questions. Like during that consultation, like, ask questions to see if they understand,
Exactly.
about it.
That's precisely it. And so many folks, through working for elected officials, but also working in the real estate business, I've had the truly privilege to work with folks from, Ohio, from the United States, New York, California, to Southeast Asia, to
Right.
Eastern and Western Africa. I mean, so I've had the privilege to work with a lot of different individuals, families, different cultures, histories, religions, and it's amazing. We all have that core desire to be providing for our families.
Right.
And
That's universal.
What?
It's universal.
Exactly. And so using that as the basis of your working with anybody,
Right.
again, through the language, through the cultures, through the difficulties, again, setting those expectations and understanding, it makes life a lot easier. Don't get me wrong, it's still a challenge.
Yeah.
Life is a challenge.
What do you mean? Real estate is easy.
Oh yeah, we're sitting back, money's just
Right.
flying in and out, and
You just have to put up a park bench and you get business.
oh, exactly.
So easy.
$1 million business.
Exactly. I think too, like what you're saying brings up a point, because like when I was traveling, I was meeting with other agents too, which was super fun. Like I got to sit in on a real estate meeting in Lima, Peru. I don't know any Spanish, but like I could still pick up some of it, right? It was really fun. But like being able to do that has helped me deal with other cultures back here in the US. So like we have clients from all over. Like we have clients that are from Morocco, and it's like, oh my gosh, I've been to Morocco. Like I know some of the customs. And so like I remember we went to their house and they were like, can we get you a drink? And I was like, do you have mint tea? Because that's what they serve people. She was like, she got so excited. She's like, we do have mint tea. But like if you pay attention and you know a little bit about the culture of your potential client, it goes a long way, because they're the ones like maybe in a foreign country, or like they're the ones always having to bend to like our culture.
Mm-hmm.
But if you like are open and even asking, like, I mean, I've dealt with clients where the woman is not allowed, even though I'm the business professional, I'm not allowed to shake the hand of the male. Like we're not allowed to touch in any way. And it's not like trying not to be like offended by that. I mean, now we're not allowed to touch anybody, but like before, you know what I'm saying? At first it was like, oh, that's weird. But then it's like, oh, well, that's okay. That's their culture. You know what I mean? Like it's very interesting once you start down that path of seeing how people do business, and maybe some of the business practices you can adopt like in your business and say, actually, that's a pretty good idea, or whatever it is, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think we have nothing but opportunities to learn and gain, experience.
Yes.
The thing that I've been trying to focus on lately is utilizing the knowledge, skills, and cultures there's a lot of cultures that negotiation is part of their culture.
I know, I love it.
And it's just like in the United States, it's, you give us a price, we'll take a price. And in other cultures, like, no. If they give you a price, we do this.
You haggle. If you don't insult them first, you're not negotiating enough.
Exactly. So, and that's hard. That's hard if you're from the States and that's not part of your family makeup. That's not part of your cultural makeup. To work with clients that is, you have to take that step back. Like, okay, that's right. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Let them, give them the information about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Let them know that, hey, this is what my professional opinion will be about what's going to take place.
Right.
You get to make the choice.
Right.
This is
Right.
your purchase. This is your sell.
Just
Just be
know
prepared.
that
Uh,
every choice has a consequence,
exactly.
good or
There's no
bad.
back.
Right. Well, I think too, like with that point, your first point is asking a lot of questions, and
Yes.
that will help you gain the understanding. The second point is listening. And I think coupled with that, it's not only listening, but it's also being patient with the answer because
Exactly.
it's likely different from yours. I mean, how many clients do we actually work with that we know we are on the same page? Like, it's hardly any. They don't know the business. Like, they bought that last time they bought a house was either never, could have been 20 years ago, or what's the average now, like 7 years? I mean,
I
that's
think
a long time, huh?
I think it's up to 10 now.
We don't say that. It's down. I'm just kidding.
Every 2 years, folks. Every
Yeah,
2
every 6 months.
years.
Exactly. Yeah, I like it. And the third one was, what's the third one?
Set expectations.
Oh yeah. I for some reason I have like a hang up when people say set expectations. Me and Monica Weekly got in a huge fight about this on our podcast. I forget which one it is, but it's the word.
Expectations. But, I was taught a long time ago that expectations, if they're not vocalized, leads to disappointment.
True. You're right.
So, and the expectation.
Monica, you're right.
What?
I said Monica, you're right.
But again, we have a job to do,
Yeah,
right? What is that job?
right.
You're setting the expectation of what your job as a realtor is, what their job as a seller, what their job as a buyer is. It's just making sure that we are all on the same page to move forward with that same goal.
Yeah. Well, when you're making a case for when you do a buyer consultation to get a buyer agreement signed, because that really is the outline of these expectations and how to proceed and what's going to happen next and all of that stuff. So you're proving our points. Thank you. I hope people go back and listen to those podcasts and follow the advice.
We've only been there, done that.
Right. It's just a few thousand times it feels like. I don't know, but it feels like a lot. Well, do you have any final thoughts for the listeners?
Couple. At the
Okay.
end of the day, our job is to facilitate a process, is
Yeah.
to help people go from, wanting to sell to sold, wanting to
Yeah.
buy to sold. So that is our job. Facilitate the process and know that through all the stress, all the chaos that can take place, we are there to be supportive and
We're the calm.
Exactly. At the end of the day, that may require you to go home and have a glass of wine.
A bottle, did you say?
Or a bottle. Actually, I was going to say that, we'll start with a glass, and it might be,
Like a big glass.
But yeah, again, we have a fantastic job. We get to help people, and just at the end of the day, blow the stress away.
Yeah.
Have the drink or whatnot, spend time with the family, but just know that you have an important role.
Yeah.
To be a service.
That's awesome. Well, we really appreciate you coming on. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Have a great day.
You too. Cheers.